Oakland. That's Calvin Branch. Excuse me, Napoleon Kaufman, number 26. No, it's Randy Jordan, 26. Check it, Kaufman at the 4. And cut down as he got out to the 22-yard line. For Oakland's offense, Rich Gannon has been everything they wanted and more. Ranked 6th in the NFL. He already has a career-high 18 touchdown passes. Behind Gannon, Wheatley, Ritchie, and Tim Brown, the 16th player in history with 700 catches, still going strong, Jett and Dudley. The offensive line has Collins, Wisniewski, Barrett Robbins, one of the game's best centers, Sims, and Kennedy. Gannon to throw on first down. Javon Curse. And Gannon is down at the 12.
Excuse me. Well, the freak, and that's gracious to him. I'm going to tell you, watch this move, folks. You want to see quickness? Boom. Ritchie tried to block him and cut him off as the fullback at the knees. Forget that.
And when you've got an arm span like he has, look at him reach out and just grab Gannon. Richie Gannon is not going to run around those arms.
Kaufman is the deep man in the eye on 2nd and long. Here comes the blitz. Gannon throws, dropped by Brown. Tennessee's defense features the remarkable rookie you just saw, Javon Curse, who combines great physical skills and desire, along with Evans, Fisk, and Holmes. The linebackers, Robinson, Barron Wortham, who reclaimed the starting job in the middle this year, and Bowden. The secondary, Walker and Roll at the corners, Blaine Bishop, the leading tackler and 3-time Pro Bowler, and Robertson at safety. Zach Crockett, number 32, checks in for the Raiders on 3rd and 20. Dump it short to John Ritchie, the big fullback. And he pounds out to the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 4th and long.
What a great shot.
Javon Curse didn't take long. He now has 10.5 sacks on the year. And as Paul said at the beginning of the telecast, he's just learning how to play defensive end. Aragus, who has had an awful season, averaging less than 40 yards a kick, the punt to Mason. Low and short. Gets a good bounce for the Raiders, however. And goes to the 38-yard line. A kick of 37 with the roll. The Titans quarterback is Steve McNair. He has struggled after back surgery. Only 5 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. Eddie George, their prime threat, 10th in the NFL in rushing. He lines up with Neal, Dyson, Bird, and Wycheck, the tight end. Up front, Hopkins, Bruce Matthews, who has now played more games than any other lineman in history, Long, Olsen, and Runyon. Eddie George, they'll whistle the play dead as there was movement up front.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 69. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
It's John Runyon, the right tackle, as Phil Luckett makes the call for us.
Runyon was questionable tonight, too. He's because of the shortness of the week, he had a little bit of a back spasm, hadn't practiced a lot, so it's almost understandably he hasn't listened to Steve McNair in almost 3 days.
So they'll make it 1st and 15. George is the single step back. And Eddie George will get the carry. Lowers his head and cracks out across the 40.
Eddie George, the big between the tackles pounder. He gives you both size and speed. Good hole up front. Look at how low he runs. All Newman has to tackle is his shoulder pads. And the best he can do is bulldog him to the ground.
2nd and 6 for the Titans. McNair wants to throw. Now it's a screen to George. Shakes the tackler. First down and more. Eddie George to the 45-yard line.
Richard Harvey plays the screen really quite well. Number 52, the outside linebacker. He's in good position. Watch number 52. Here comes the screen to the left side of your screen. 52 will come in. He's got a shot at him. But that's the thing. He's not just a big back. He's got excellent feet, tremendous power, and speed to go with it. The total package would be a good description.
And a great vision.
They'll spot it at the Raider 44, first down. Bird, the motion man. George. Hit hard this time after a gain of a couple. For the Raiders defense, Harris, Maryland, Darrell Russell having a brilliant year. 9.5 sacks from the inside, and Johnstone. The linebackers, Sword, Beekert, and Richard Harvey's had a major impact as a leader and a playmaker. In the secondary, Woodson, Eric Allen now with 47 career interceptions. Newman and Mincy.
That time Russell, Maryland, number 67, came up with holding his right shoulder. He got a stinger. When he hit Eddie George, that was a collision.
George again. Hit in the backfield, wrapped up by Darrell Russell. There's a marker down on the play, and Russell was in there so quickly that time. And this will set Tennessee back.
On the offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Kevin Long, the center out of Florida State, and they'll back it up into Tennessee territory.
You've got to assume it's got to be on either Russell or Maryland. Kevin Long's going to have his work cut out for him. Darrell Russell, number 93. They try and grab on. 96. Comes flying through.
And he made the tackle anyway. So it's 2nd and 18. Here comes the blitz. McNair over the middle. Bird down to the 41-yard line. Isaac Bird starting in place of Yancey Thigpen, who is missing his 4th straight game with an ankle injury. Continues to lead the team with 581 yards this year.
He really did improve. I was out at practice yesterday and the day before, and you could see him with the noticeable improvement, but he just can't cut one way. 10 days rest, he'll be ready for him after this break.
He did a nice job yesterday bringing the donuts in.
Third and 6. McNair rolling away from pressure. Tipped and incomplete. Intended for Bird, but there were 3 Raiders down there, and Sam Sword, the rookie linebacker, was the man who got a hand on it.
I guess there's only one way to really bring down Russell, Maryland, and that's tackling. I mean, they had a double team. Here's McNair throwing the ball downfield. You got to get yourself set and turned. This is just outstanding defense. They were there, knocked the ball down. Sam Sword, free agent, rookie. It's a great job.
Darian Gordon waits for Hendrick, who's 7th in the NFL in punting this year, and 3rd in net. He's done a tremendous job in these situations. Hangs this one up, gets a great bounce, and down at the 7. There is magic when Hendrick puts the ball inside the 20. Kick of 34 and no return. Headshots provided by the Southwest Airlines Aerial Cam high above Nashville, Tennessee for this ESPN NFL Thursday night special. 10:14 to go. Scoreless first quarter. Raiders ball at their own 12. Napoleon Kaufman with a seam. Kaufman cuts it back. Javon Curse downfield to make the tackle at the 35. A gain of 27.
I don't know if there is a better defensive lineman in football today than Javon Curse. This is unbelievable.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talked about this guy, the moves, what he does on a football field. Here's the miss That was Javon Curse who made, no, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was not Javon Curse. But you look at Kaufman when he cuts back to the other side of the field. Who's out front, downfield 90?
Wheatley, the power back, who resurrected his career here, gets a yard.
Javon Curse, we talked about him, one of the big concerns. Watch this. He gets off the blocker, now he's chasing. Kaufman cuts back, but look who cuts him off. Look at the angles that he takes. This guy's a rookie. The perfect angle.
He has incredible speed for a guy who's 265 pounds. He runs a 4.43.
I think somebody had a stuck finger.
Yeah.
I think he's faster than that.
He's faster than a lot of wide receivers. He's already proven that. Gannon now sidearms it, incomplete. Jet looking for a flag, and he doesn't get it. Covered by Denard Walker.
One of the problems a coach faces, and John Gruden certainly did with a short week, is from a preparation standpoint. How much time can you put in looking at film? He is a film freak. He studies it hours after hours to come up with his game plans. Many times he'll go into a game with over 100 passes alone, and he felt like he was really cut short. Now, Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of the Tennessee Oilers, is faced with the same situation. Titans. He's faced with the same situation. Not enough time to look at the film.
3rd and 9, blitz coming. Gannon got rid of it, and Nickens couldn't hold it. Joe Bowden hit Rich Gannon just as he threw.
Well, you know, we were talking the other night to Tim Brown. Tim Brown said to us, we don't know how many guys are going to send. Sometimes they send 5, sometimes they send 9. He said, we have to be prepared. That time, Bowden was all by himself in the backfield.
Aragoose to kick to Derek Mason. He waits back at his 20. Much better kick this time. Mason swarmed under shy of the 30. 39-yard kick, 4-yard return. Kenny Shedd, the first man down on special teams. Back in a moment. Matthews set the record for games played by an offensive lineman. He's got the longest streak in the NFL right now in games started. And wherever they have put him, he has been a star. He has made 11 Pro Bowls, 7 at guard, 4 at center. He is just a remarkably consistent, talented offensive lineman. Eddie George takes a big shot as he crosses the 30, coming up hard. Charles Mincy from the safety spot.
Well, you're talking about Bruce Matthews, 17 years. What has he done? Well, that's what he did before. What does he do tonight? This guy can still block. He still feels good about everything he's doing. I mean, he traps well. You know, it's amazing that a guy can play all of those positions, Joe, and play them all well.
2nd and 6. Raiders jump. Draw play to George. Breaks the tackle. Mincy goes for the ball, and Eddie George gets it out to the 40.
That's first down.
Offside, defense, number 56. The penalty is declined. The run was complete for a first down.
They'll take the 7-yard run instead.
Even though Gruden's football team has done a much better job regarding penalties this year, this is one area where Tennessee feels like they can exploit them. Darrell Russell and Russell Maryland love to get a jump off the ball, and Steve McNair will continue to go hard counts to make them sit at home.
McNair to throw on first down. Swing to George. Nice tackle that time by Sam Sword. Here's Bruce Matthews on how he's managed to play 17 seasons and 261.
And we hate to lose, I think, even more. And that's really why I keep playing.
And he's certainly won more than he's lost. Eddie George, gaping hole. to the 43. Newman saved a touchdown.
The thing about Eddie George is he's so tall. He's such a big back. He's 6'3", but you can't tackle him low.
Well, they go right behind Bruce Matthews. Watch number 74. Boom, the point of attack. He's got two guys tied up. That's how good he is. He ties up two people. The hole is there. Eddie George is in the hole. First down.
Eddie George, 33 yards on 5 carries here in the first quarter. Eddie George, this time wrapped up around the ankles by Russell Maryland.
Willie Shaw, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, told me earlier today, he said the one thing we want to do is stop the run. We have to stop the run, and because they don't have a Yancey Thigpen, he will be able to commit Charles Mincy, the free safety, or Anthony Newman, the strong safety, to 8 in the box. So far, Eddie's been able to make both of them miss.
Joey Kent is in as a wide receiver. He's number 86 for Tennessee. McNair with time, double pumps. Flag is down. Wycheck makes the catch over the middle. Frank Wycheck, their valuable tight end, who has caught more balls than any tight end in the NFL. But this looks like a hold, and we'll bring it back.
You know, this is the second time they've been inside the 45-yard line and have a holding penalty.
Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Oh, not on the night he's being honored.
Wait a minute now. You know, there's a reason why you're that good for such a long period of time. Sometimes you have to hold. Now, here's the play.
That's just a little right arm. Well, he's still holding.
That's a dance step.
He's still got him. Lance Johnstone was not going to get away.
So mark it back to the Tennessee 48-yard line. We're at 2nd and 19.
Tennessee is an excellent screen team. Eddie George is an excellent screen runner. They run a couple in this situation. It's the kind of thing that the Raiders have to be conscious of.
Draw instead of a screen. George, stiff arm, gets him another 5 yards as Charles Mincy gets a free ride.
Eddie George has got such great feet. And we talked about all the other things, Joe, how tall he is and how strong he is in his vision. But he has outstanding feet. He comes down the line of scrimmage. Watch Richard Harvey. He sets him up on the block. He sees it back inside, moves his feet back to the outside. And look at with that move there, picked up 4 extra yards.
How good is Baltimore's defense? They held him to 30 yards on 8 carries last week. 3rd and 10. And now the Raiders are going to call a timeout. Grady Jackson didn't like the lineup. Signal to the referee for a time. Nothing. The offense has been on the field too long, and Javon Curse feels the need to burn off a few calories. So he's got the exercise bike, just like the one we have for Paul up here in the booth.
He's absolutely, I mean, if it wasn't for Edgerrin James and the job he's done with the Colts, this guy would be a runaway for Rookie of the Year.
3rd and 10. The Raiders had only 10 men on the field. That's why they called the timeout. McNair tipped up in the air and intercepted. Picked off at the 37-yard line.
Pass intercepted.
Johnstone comes up with the ball.
Darrell Russell's the one who swats the ball away. He does a good job at the line of scrimmage. He watches what Steve Mayer is looking at, swats it up. Johnstone comes up with it.
For the ball game, and the Raiders take over at their own 37. And it looked like Mo Collins, the left tackle, flinched. Both teams hurting themselves with penalties.
Prior to the snap. Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Collins, as you might expect, came out of Florida as an excellent pass blocker in that system. First 12 games, the lowest they've had since 1967. That's John Gruden's influence. Wheatley on the toss. Tyrone Wheatley barrels down the sideline near a first down.
Tyrone Wheatley on the carry.
Well, you take a look at Kenny Holmes, number 99. He's a defensive end. He comes straight up the field. Look at this. He goes after the quarterback, and there's nobody on the outside. Number 55 is Eddie Robinson. Now, whether he's supposed to be out there or not, I don't know. I don't know the defensive call, but I'll tell you what, the defensive end should have been straight up the field.
Well, that's that little play action fake. You know, like the options they're running now? That's that little play action fake, and then the quarterback just kicks it out quick. That becomes almost like a naked sweep.
And you really don't expect it out of Wheatley. Napoleon Kaufman will try the outside. And he's planted by Curse after a gain of 2. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues this week at 8:15 as Derek Thomas and the Chiefs host Randy Moss and the Vikings. And on Monday Night Football, Mark Brunell and the 11-1 Jaguars battle the Broncos at 9. Second and 8 for the Raiders in a rapidly moving first quarter. Wheatley is back in as the running back along with Ritchie. Gannon, the slant to Tim Brown. First down inside the Tennessee 40.
When you throw quick slants, it's imperative that the receiver wins at the line of scrimmage. Samari Roll, number 21, is on Tim Brown. Watch what Brown does at the line of scrimmage. He freezes him, makes him take a step outside. As soon as Roll takes that step outside, Brown's got him beat.
Since '93, at least 80 catches for 1,000 yards for the brilliant Tim Brown. Gannon changing the play. Tries to throw a slant to Jet and missed time behind him.
Oh, and he had him wide open, too. They bailed out defensively. Denard Walker just bailed out. Jet came flying through. Ritchie just happened to get it up in the air a little bit. John Gruden doing a heck of a job making calls. Watch this. You see Walker, look, he comes into absolutely nowhere. Cuts in behind Blaine Bishop, the safety, and the ball just goes over his head.
2nd and 10. Gannon down the middle, tight end Dudley. Ricky Dudley fights for extra yards to the 15-yard line. A gain of 23.
He just beat Steve Jackson, number 24. He is in the game. They're in a nickel package. And Steve Jackson one-on-one with Ricky Dudley. There's 24. Watch this. Dudley goes across. Jackson gets frozen.
And the one thing that Rich Gannon has done the last couple of games is stay in the pocket. He had a quadricep pull, hasn't been able to run around as much, and he's been much more accurate throwing out of the pocket.
Out of the eye this time. Gannon scrambles and throws incomplete. Robinson with the coverage on the backup tight end Jeremy Brigham. John Gruden said last night when we asked him, did he get everything he expected from Rich Gannon? He said that and a lot more. The guy has been a leader. He's fiery. He's not going to let other guys go in the tank. And he has been very accurate and tremendously productive. Wheatley. Not much. Stopped by John Thornton, the rookie.
No, you're talking about the guys who stepped up. Tyrone Wheatley is one of the guys who stepped up on this Raider team. He was with the Giants, went to Miami, really never got a chance at Miami, but here he does, Joe.
And they've run the football very effectively in the red area, and that's part of the reason why. You see Wheatley's numbers. He's done a terrific job for him, but right down around the goal line, I think you got to think of Ricky Dudley and Tim Brown when you get down into this area. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10
3rd and 8. They'll whistle this one down.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, it remains 3rd down.
It's Lincoln Kennedy who's trying to get back and protect against Javon Curse.
You've got to give the fans here in this stadium a little bit of credit because they're making a lot of noise, and it's difficult for the tackles to hear, and they can't see the ball, so they can only go off of movement.
3rd and 14. First scoring opportunity of the ball game. Gannon on the run to Kaufman. He's caught at the 15, and that'll bring on the field goal unit.
I'll tell you, he's caught at the 15, but what a great play by Kaufman. What happens, Kaufman catches the ball, he's out there by himself, and he also realized he needed about another 7 yards for the first down. So he goes back into the field of play and gets hammered.
Husted has struggled this year. He has, in his career, the lowest field goal percentage among active kickers. They struggled last year with Greg Davis, replaced him with Husted this season. He's hit 20 of 29 and missed that one. .7% on the year, and you can tell John Gruden's reaction to it.
He and the Judds. It was McGuire and the Judds. It was unbelievable.
Was it good?
Sold out. Incredible. You are so talented.
I was actually here in court, McGuire and the Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused. I'm sorry.
Raiders may have jumped again.
Flags.
Raiders, of course, pointing at Tennessee, and Tennessee doing the same thing.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 41. 5-yard penalty remains, 1st down.
That's the blocking back, Lorenzo Neal.
Jeff Fisher's offense, it's a good philosophy, and Les Steckel, the offensive coordinator, wants him to try and do it. The problem is if you get too cute, you wind up disrupting the rhythm of your offense, and when your guys start to jump offside, they shouldn't use it now for the rest of this half. Just put it away and save it, Les.
1st and 15. McNair goes to Wycheck, a little check down over the middle at the 20. And that looks like it's going to be the last play of a rapidly moving first quarter here in Nashville. The Titans and the Raiders both fighting to stay in playoff position. Tied 0-0 into the first quarter.
The way I see it, you either get the best parts for your car or you settle for less. You either find what you need or you find yourself spinning your wheels. That's why you're either shopping at Discount Auto Parts or you took a wrong turn somewhere. Now, some people might say I'm pretty opinionated. Well, remember, I do tend to see things in black and white. Discount Auto Parts, the place to start when you need parts.
Turn right into Cody's Original Roadhouse for great steaks and more. Cody's, the fun place to eat, features fresh cut steaks, ribs and chops, grilled salmon, and scrumptious rotisserie chicken with all the fixins. Kids 10 and under eat free every Monday and Tuesday. Every Wednesday is free fajitas, buy one, get one free. And on Thursdays, Cody's features a 10-ounce USDA choice top sirloin steak for only $7.95.
Cody's Roadhouse, big beers, lots of peanuts, and a lot of fun.
Stop by Cody's Original Roadhouse, serving just plain good food.
Buick Golf Caravan is coming to Scott Buick this Saturday and Sunday. I personally invite you to come to our dealership for this really special event. We'll have live music, refreshments, a free golf swing analyzer, local golf pros, even a free video of your swing. But more important, Scott Buick will have all the JCPenney Golf Classic Buicks on sale. plus dealer demos and GM certified cars at fantastically low prices. Free gifts, music, golf, and big savings. All at Scott Buick this weekend, 9400 US 19 North in Pinellas Park.
The Raiders are less than happy to be here tonight. They are the first West Coast team since 1980 to play on Sunday and then cross the Mississippi River to play on a Thursday night.
Well, the thing about it is they're playing 4 games in 18 days. And it's not so much the preparation, Joe. It's the healing process of these guys. They need some rest.
And coaches like to use different psychological tools to be able to get their teams ready. For example, Jeff Fisher, when you went around the Titan complex, had crossed out Tuesday and wrote Friday beneath it. There were signs posted everywhere, the men's room, the locker rooms, in the lockers, trying to get his players to speed it up and think that this is a Sunday game.
McNair dumps it off short again. Roan across the 30, couple yards shy of a first down. Check it was Wycheck 89 instead of Roan 80. And Wycheck has been McNair's favorite target since he's been starting. Al Davis, of course, crossed the Mississippi River. It always seems to be tougher going east. You lose that time instead of going in the other direction.
If you're a West Coast team, you get up a lot earlier, and you lose the sleep, and you lose the rest.
3rd and 2. Eddie George takes it outside, dives for the sticks, and appears to have it. Eric Allen got him at the corner. Let's go to Solomon Wolcott. Solomon?
Yeah, as you said earlier, Mike, this makes the 4th consecutive game Tennessee has been without their big play wide receiver, Yancey Thigpen, who's out with an ankle injury. And Yancey, in your absence, the passing game has really struggled. Other than getting you back in the lineup, what has to be done in order to rectify the problem?
Well, I think the problem right now is a lot of little things. I mean, you got guys running down the field wide open, and then someone misses a block, and the quarterback doesn't have time to get the ball to him. It's so many different little things that we've been working extremely hard at. I think the guys realize, you know, in practice that the pass game is definitely not where we want it to be. They've been working extremely hard at it. It's from a blocking standpoint, receivers getting open at certain times. It's an accumulation of a lot of different things.
Okay, Yancey, well, thanks for joining us. And Yancey is expected to be back in 10 days when they take on the Atlanta Falcons, Mike.
All right, Solomon, they certainly need something to open it up on the last play. Eric Allen, one of the corners, was right at the line of scrimmage playing run defense.
Well, he also was the guy that made the tackle at Eddie George on the play before. So you've got a corner sitting up on the line of scrimmage. They don't care about pass.
Both right.
Somebody jumps again. Flags are down. Eddie George just lowers his shoulder and drives out near the 40. We'll check this mark.
They're not going to get away from the hard counts. This time, I believe they got the Raiders to jump off sides.
Well, this play should have been stopped at the beginning, because once you cross the line of scrimmage and you make contact, the play is over.
I don't know that he made contact.
But it's a good point.
Offside, defense, number 98. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
Chuck Osborne.
Look at that look.
I tell you, you'd hate to be in John Gruden's family and forget to get the quart of milk, wouldn't you?
Well, he has got the greatest looks. Unfortunately, they always come about when something goes wrong.
And he is the nicest man, though. I mean, when you sit and talk to him, he laughs about it. He says, where do we look like that? Yeah, you do.
He's got the stare of a lifetime. 2nd and 3 after the penalty. Eddie George hit in the backfield and brought down by Mincy. The free safety in the backfield in a heartbeat.
Okay, the Raiders are saying right now, we're not going to let you run Eddie George anymore. We've gone through the first quarter of this game. Now we understand what you want to do. We're going to bring our safeties up, and we're going to make them play. Willie Brown says, look, here we go. Watch. Mincy's going to come flying. They're just going to come flying right up here to make the play.
34, the 38-yard line.
3rd down, call it 4. McNair with time. Now has pressure and throws incomplete up at midfield. It was intended for Jackie Harris, the veteran tight end. Darrell Russell was applying the pressure on McNair, and the Boo Birds are out in Nashville.
Well, McNair had time to throw the football. But then he's looking around, but nobody was open.
Darian Gordon back deep for the Raiders.
Hendrick comes on to kick to Darian Gordon, the veteran and dangerous kick return. Beautiful sailing kick. Fair catch made by Gordon up at the 21-yard line. 40-yard punt. No return, and pushing and shoving after the play. No flags, no punches thrown.
Well, they're all the little people. When I say the little people, those are the defensive backs and receivers. They'll push and shove, and they're not going to hurt anybody.
And we're not talking about leprechauns. Kearse, the rookie they call the Freak, leads the team with 10.5 sacks. He has 8 forced fumbles this year. Want to go back and show you 2 plays from last week against the Ravens that will blow you away.
He's on the top side. Priest Holmes is a runner, one of the fastest guys on Baltimore. Watch him break it here. Watch who catches him. Here comes Javon Kearse. Now he has to slow down in order to make the tackle.
He does the same thing here on a pass play. Jumps up, tries to swat the ball around. That's Kadri Ishmael. He's got him spotted by about 5 yards. And look at him close the distance. That's Samari Roll, a corner that he catches.
Wheatley lowers his shoulder and gets a couple. Jeff Fisher says they don't know whether he'll end up staying at defensive end, be a middle linebacker, an outside linebacker. You could virtually play him like colleges play that monster role. You could put him anywhere and just let the guy do his thing.
Well, they will use him at different positions on the defensive line, but again, they just want him to play the ends now to get comfortable somewhere. I see in the next 2 or 3 years him playing all over.
Gannon to Ritchie, no one around, so Ritchie gets up and heads for more. And Kearse chased him down. Well, it's not just his athletic ability, it's his belief that he can make plays anywhere on the field in his hustle.
Well, Bruce Matthews told us about this guy. Just watch Kearse, what he does here. But Bruce Matthews told us, I've seen guys like this before, as big as he is, as fast as he is, but I've never seen anybody play like he does. Now, remember, he was at the line of scrimmage trying to knock the ball down. Then he goes downfield some 12 yards and makes the tackle.
First down Raiders at their own 41.
I'm playing the fullback.
Kaufman. Javon Kearse. If you think he's good now, listen to Jeff Fisher on how much better he might be.
He does things that I've never seen people do before, players. I mean, he's just getting started. He takes one move each week and he works it to perfection, and then he uses it during the game. Then he comes back and tries something different. He does not yet understand the defensive end position. He's just learning it, and when he gets the handle on it, he's going to be special.
I think he's there now.
No, he's not.
They said at Florida he'd go out and cover defensive backs and shut him down. Jet. Ball's loose and Jet is hurt. And the Raiders have it at the Titan 42.
I'll tell you, Jet got hammered by more than one. Marcus Robinson, number 31, is the guy that's going to come in right about now. Look at this. Shot right in the back. Jet goes down. Steve Jackson, number 24, is there from the other side.
That ends up being helmet to helmet, I think.
Man, it's, right at the line of scrimmage is really where this whole play is made. Denard Walker again bails out and allows Jet the opportunity to run the quick post.
Boy, he has world-class speed, too.
You've got to get... He's not a big guy. I mean, he's only 170 pounds. Denard Walker's 6'1" and 190. He's got to put a mid on him to slow him down a little bit.
Mickens will come in for Jet. Kaufman.
Carry by the
College basketball triple header for you Saturday starting at noon. Stanford, number 3 against Georgia Tech. Then at 7 on ESPN2, Wisconsin against South Florida. And at 9, back on ESPN, 22nd ranked Kentucky against number 19 Maryland.
If you're a Raider fan and you're sitting here expecting them to throw a deep ball, don't. They just don't throw the ball down the field like the old Raider team your father used to tell you about.
2nd and 6. Tennessee comes with a blitz. Gannon for Mickens. He's got it. And incomplete.
Doesn't make any difference. That play was blown dead before it even started. No one heard it.
Second down.
These are the kind of plays that John Gruden looks for opportunities in a game. They run a little quick hitch and go. They wind up with a false start. Negates a big game and a big opportunity.
When you change plays on the road, sometimes all 11 guys don't get it, and they said that one was on John Ritchie, the fullback, moving early. 2nd and 11. And that time, the right tackle, Lincoln Kennedy, moved early. And John Gruden is getting unhappier by the moment.
Ball start, offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
If I'm Rich Gannon now, what I do is just the opposite of what Steve McNair has done. The crowd's quiet. McNair can go on the hard counts. Gannon is going to have to ignore the audibles a bit, just get to the line of scrimmage and get his guys running plays again. There you see the stats.
Kearse getting a breather. Gannon steps up and fires to Mickens at the 35. That'll be about 3 shy of a 1st down.
Boy, was that a great play by Gannon. Gannon feels the pressure coming to his left side. He just steps up and makes the throw. Total awareness of where he is. Watch Gannon. Watch the pressure coming from the left side. That's Kenny Holmes coming out there. He feels it. He steps up, makes the throw. Here's Mickens coming back to the ball. Just a great play.
The Raiders' offense in more rhythm than they've had all year. Gannon. And that one's complete to Jett, who went downfield and came back, and they've got the 1st down.
James Jett did an excellent job of keeping the play alive for Rich Gannon. He goes in motion, he starts up the field, he starts across the field, then works his way back into a position where Richie has a throwing lane.
And Gannon will come at you from all angles. Over the top, sidearm. Wheatley is back in as the running back. Wheatley hit and dropped by Barronworth in the middle linebacker. 6 minutes to go, 1st half. You're watching ESPN's Thursday night special from Nashville. The Raiders against the Titans. We are scoreless. Oakland moving the ball, but they've had critical penalties. It will be 2nd and 10 here. Kearse back on the field for the Titan defense. Gannon incomplete. Trying to hit Tim Brown.
I'll tell you, Javon Kearse is worried about Tyrone Wheatley, grabs him around the leg. He almost tackles him. Javon Kearse is looking at the official saying, you know, what do I have to do? Watch, here's 90. 47 is Tyrone Wheatley. Watch this. Down there, he's got him around the legs and he tackles him, and they don't throw it.
Tyrone protecting his quarterback, and he got away with one.
I think that's the only way to stop this guy.
Yes, sir.
Is tackle.
Zach Crockett is in on 3rd and 10. collared and brought down by Eddie Robinson. Now Husted's going to have to try a long field goal.
You want to keep Richie Gannon in the pocket, so what you do is you send the ends upfield. Javon Curse comes up, forces him up inside. There's Kenny Holmes on the other side. He does a hurdle over Richie. When Gannon steps up, here comes the horse collar by Eddie Robinson.
Husted missed from 32. He'll try from 45. No good.
That was blocked. I think that was hit at the line of scrimmage. But I'll tell you, if I was Husted, I'd leave my uniform and just go on home.
For kickers in the NFL isn't the greatest anyway, but for Michael Husted, he is 0 for 2 tonight. That one may have been partially blocked by Anthony Dorsett.
Anthony Dorsett does a great job. First of all, he hurdles the line, and then he just changes a little bit of the direction of the ball, and that was enough to knock it down.
It went through Anthony's arms, not through the upright.
But for the kicker, it goes on your record. Still 0-0. Tennessee takes over at the 35. McNair, play action. Now dumps it off and threw it behind Wycheck. Make sure you tune to ESPN Classic Saturday, 1:30 Eastern. Classic Heisman Heroes. A half-hour special with interviews and highlights of former Heisman Trophy winners. You'll hear from former college football greats like Paul Hornung, Archie Griffin, and Steve Spurrier, just to name a few. To order ESPN Classic, call 1-800-CLASSIC or your local cable provider. And don't forget, you can see the presentation of this year's award on ESPN, 8 p.m. Saturday night. And there's Charles Woodson, who has his Heisman Trophy. Raiders come with a blitz, short set, and another poor pass by McNair. He threw that one behind Chris Sanders. He's been behind about 4 guys.
Joe, will he make a switch to Neil O'Donnell? I'm not calling for the switch, but will he take Steve McNair out and put Neil O'Donnell in?
Absolutely not. I would be very surprised unless Steve gets hurt. And even though Jeff said there might be a chance, I would not see it happening in this football game.
McNair,
there's no reason.
McNair is 2 out of his last 5 with an interception and facing 3rd and 10 here.
There's a reason. Well, the interception was a batted ball.
4-man rush. Screen to Eddie George, and he missed him.
Oh, man, and they had everybody out front. This thing was already locked up and ready to go. They got some outstanding blocking by the offensive line. Runyon, 69, gets outside. Watch this. If Eddie George catches the ball, look at Runyon's man is on the ground. Look to the outside. There are no white shirts.
He could have run all night.
Ooh, baby.
Hentrick will have to come on to punt. Not a good series for Steve McNair. Low line drive kick this time. Gordon tells everybody to get away. And it takes a Raider bounce. The kick only 27 yards and good field position for Oakland. 0-0. 4:25 left in the half. To simultaneously experience tonight's game on television and online, log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com and click on the enhanced TV logo. We'll take you to the internet in just a moment.
I had it on this play.
What was it?
Kaufman.
Kaufman straight up the middle, up to the 43. And Paul, the Millennium is running out. You haven't gotten one yet.
He did have that one, though.
I had that one.
That one doesn't count. Now you get to pick. You're behind by 73 points. Oh, Joe? All right. Joe, Paul is starting to mount a comeback. It says, are you nervous? Are you kidding?
I'm a little concerned. I think Kaufman gets it again. I'm going with Kaufman again.
Napoleon Kaufman.
Don't trip.
Lost his footing, got it up to the 47-yard line. So Joe is correct again.
Joe is correct again.
You don't like this game very much,
No,
do you?
I don't, to be honest with you. I like the trivia, baby. That's the one.
Well, that's because people help you.
Well, who's in the backfield? Who's in the backfield?
I think it's going to be Kaufman and Richie.
It's Richie and Crockett.
Zach
I'm
Crockett.
taking Zach Crockett. And a timeout.
Oh, the suspense is just killing me.
Richie Gannon calls the timeout with 3:10 to go in the half. 0-0 in Nashville. 3:10 to go in the first half. It's 3rd and 2. Let's get Paul's pick on this play.
Hey, Crockett.
Zach Crockett is the single setback.
I think it's a pass to Tim Brown.
Why don't you stop it? It's not your turn, pal. I think it's a pass to Dudley.
Ricky Dudley, first down and more. So John Gruden's play call works. Paul McGuire's play call does not exist. And the count is just getting worse every time we do this, isn't it?
I just get 9 tonight. What do I get? The yards plus 5?
Yes.
I guess.
Who's the smart Alex Sorry Paul deal? Who's that guy? I want to talk to him after this is over with. I had the call before the timeout. It would have been Crockett. Get anything for that?
Tyrone Wheatley to the Titan 35-yard line. You know, the Raiders have moved the ball pretty well tonight, but they have nothing to show for it. A field goal that was wide and a field goal that may have been tipped.
And they really only took one shot down the field. Gruden called a little pump and go to Mickens, who's really struggled in the last few games. Lost a fumble against Denver, also had a ball taken away from him, trying to get some confidence back. You talk about trying to get confidence back. Husted has got to find some kind of confidence.
2nd and 7. And they'll blow this one dead for the 2-minute warning.
The 2-minute warning. Do I get anything for that?
Prior to the snap, 2-minute warning. Please reset the clock to 2 minutes. 2-minute warning.
0-0. 2 minutes to go. First half from Nashville. Chiefs Vikings preview, our Sunday night game from Kansas City. Wheatley is in on 2nd and 7. Gannon to throw. And it's complete down to the 15-yard line. First down. The Raiders move it again. James Jett with the catch.
Ricky Dudley almost messed this play up. He pulled his hands down. He thought the ball was coming to him, and he got his hands out of the way.
In the meantime, James Jett makes the play again. A lot of room to roam. He's a small receiver, and Tennessee likes to play a lot of press man-to-man coverage, but they're letting him go. I don't know if Ricky got his hands down or just misjudged it.
He misjudged the ball. You're right,
Wheatley inside the 10. Clock running, 1:13 to go in the half.
We talked about it before. The Raiders have done such a great job in the red area of running the football. And that's when I really think an offense is good. It gives Gruden a lot of flexibility. If you can run the football down here, it makes the safeties play closer, and it allows you to run some play action. Richie Gannon has 18 touchdown passes. 17 of them have been out of the red zone.
The Raiders starting to dominate statistically, but still haven't gotten on the scoreboard. Gannon hit from behind, fumble. Tennessee has it.
Javon Curse is the guy that comes back and knocks the ball out of his hand. Forced fumble, number 9.
Samari Roll picked it up. And Curse is injured.
Oh,
and so's Rich Gannon.
Oh, man, what a great play Javon Curse makes. Watch this, folks. Here's Kennedy pushing him to the outside. He sees Gannon running. Watch him strip the ball. Reaches in, knocks the ball out, makes a tackle. And then there's guys trying to pick it up. Fall on the football. Jason Fisk, 97, tries to pick the ball up, which is dumb.
Barrett Robbins unloaded on Samari Roll. I mean, unloaded. Curse is still down. He appeared to fall on the foot of Rich Gannon. Half clock. And it's Eddie George. The Titans in no hurry. In fact, they're already on the way to the locker room. And they'll take their 2 timeouts with them. Curse in his last 7 games has been virtually unstoppable. 8.5 sacks, 7 forced fumbles. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Raiders nothing, the Titans nothing. Now let's join Chris Berman for the 2 field goals and a fumble in the red zone. Derek Mason to return from the 10. And stopped at the 25-yard line. Travion Smith downfield to make the tackle on special teams. First half stats not impressive at all for the Titans. 55 yards on the ground, only 44 passing for McNair, 99 total. The Raiders have more than doubled that, but have no points to show for it. McNair leads them out. First down from the 25. Eddie George is the tailback. McNair to throw on first down. Dumps it for a short gain to George at the 30. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcox. Solly?
Yeah, Mike, Titans head coach Jeff Fisher has one eye on the weather forecast and, of course, one eye on the Oakland Raiders. He told me they're expecting a bad weather front to move in to the area, a lot of rain, and he says he wants to try to get a big play in the passing game early here in the second half before the weather gets bad. You know he's going to have to take some shots early here in the second half, Mike.
All right, Solly, thanks. It's 2nd and 4. McNair tried to throw on first down, had to settle for a little dump off. Darrell Russell with an early start that has plagued the Raiders tonight.
When you see a guy go through the line of scrimmage, he doesn't touch anybody, and he just stands there, Joe, like, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's me. I'm over here.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense number 96, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
When you have the absence of a Yancey Thigpen, it's difficult to try and get the ball down to the field to your wide receivers. Look at the balls. One has been thrown at Woodson, one has been thrown at Allen. And you see a lot of zeros. There's been one completion to Woodson. That was minimal at best. I really believe that at one point, Les Steckel was going to have to force the ball down the field. I wouldn't suggest it against Charles Woodson.
Eddie George. Maryland chases him down as he crosses the 40-yard line.
Tackled by Russell.
Steve McNair has had his struggles. One of only 2 players since 50 to throw at least 25 passes in 5 straight games without a TD pass. Jim Plunkett, the other one, early in his career.
Well, you wouldn't think Plunkett would be one of the 2 guys, would you?
Yeah, but I mean, those early years in New England were not pleasant for him.
2nd and 5. George lost his footing, gets up, tries to get something out of it. Maybe picked up a yard before Greg Beekert covered him up.
Well, I'll tell you, this was a great 1.5-yard run. Eddie George tries to make a cut. He does. He's on the ground, Joe, but he has enough presence to get back up. He knows he's going to get hammered and pick up another 1.5 yards.
1.5 yards, a great 1.5 yards.
It was.
Okay.
The Titans only 1 out of 5 on 3rd down tonight. Facing 3rd and 4 here.
They love to get the ball to the tight end in this situation.
McNair with all day. Now he runs for it and has the first down. First time McNair has run tonight, Joe.
And Jeff Fisher's offense is doing the things it needs to move the football. Gruden's offense has gotten some scoring opportunities. You'll see McNair, he wants to go up the field. Woodson in coverage, nowhere to go up there. He's got to pull it down and try and make a play. And when I had a chance to talk to Willie Shaw earlier, he said, we have to be concerned with both of the runners for the Tennessee Titans. That's Eddie George and Steve McNair.
McNair's rushed for over 200 yards this year. Play action. Wide open, Wycheck, and the tight end to the Raider 29.
This is what happens with Eddie George running the football and play action passes. And the guy, you're absolutely right, the guy he loves to throw to is Frank Wycheck. He's got the most catches on the team. Watch Frank Wycheck. He just moves into an area behind the linebacker. The pass is perfect. First down inside the 30.
And, you know, really, even though this is a nice tight spiral and a good pass, Steve McNair is not throwing the ball as well as we've seen him throw it before. Has 2 turf toes and an ankle that have bothered him, and certainly a short week doesn't help.
McNair to Eddie George in the flat and threw it too low. Oh, boy. Boy, he has missed some wide-open guys tonight.
And he was wide open. Eddie George was out there with nobody around him. All he had to do was just throw the ball to him.
Guys, I'm telling you, it's hard to be, when your toes are bad, when the big toes are hurt, it's hard to step through. And look at this. He throws it, and it's just down low. Now, Eddie would have probably picked up 5 or 6 yards, but you'd rather have 2nd and 4 than 2nd and 10. Yeah.
7 completions, 73 yards, and a pick. Draw play to Eddie George. Picking his way through the Raider defense shy of the 20. Charles Mincy made the tackle, 64 yards rushing now for the former Heisman winner out of Ohio State.
Kevin Long, number 60, the center, does a nice job to help Eddie get some blocking. Good job. Turns Maryland out, stays with them. Allows Bruce Matthews to come over and help out. All you have to do as a center is engage people. You don't need to blow them off the ball. All you need to do is engage them.
3rd and less than 2. George, room to run. Neal in front, Eddie George out of bounds at the 1. There was nobody on the corner.
This play had success written all over it for a simple reason. The Raiders had 10 guys up on the line of scrimmage and 1 guy deep. And when that happened, they just sealed everybody to the inside. Look at this. All the Raiders are up on the line of scrimmage. The backs are there. The linebackers are caught inside. And then Eddie George gets outside. You got 10 guys up on the line of scrimmage. Run wide.
1st and goal inside the 1. Neal the blocking back. George the deep man in the eye. Lorenzo Neal. No signal yet.
Here's a guy who just got his 2nd carry of the year.
The first one was for a touchdown.
I don't know if you necessarily want to feature because he's not going to launch if he wants to try and go high. Here's the quick handoff. There you see Lorenzo. Well, maybe that was a launch. To me, it looks like he's in the end zone. If Jeff Fisher wanted to, if he wanted to challenge.
It looked like the nose of the ball broke the plane, but no call. It will be 2nd and goal. McNair.
That's a touchdown.
No signal.
Touchdown.
Michael, the reason I said there's a touchdown, if you look at McNair, I mean, they had a half a yard. Look where the ball is, and watch the steps he takes. 1, 2, 3. before anything happens. He's in the end zone. There's no question about it.
But, you know, from an official standpoint, there's such a pile, Paul, you really can't tell. The officials had to run in, and look, everybody was piled up on top of him. You can certainly understand why it wasn't very clear at that instant.
They come rushing in from the sideline and go hunting for the football. Al Del Greco comes on for the point after. Remember, the Raiders lost 3 scoring opportunities in the first half. Now they find themselves down 7-0. Eddie George was the workhorse on that drive that went 75 yards and took more than 6 minutes off the clock. 7-0 Tennessee, going for their 10th one of the year. Napoleon Kaufman back to the goal line. Has a seat. Napoleon Kaufman with Dudley in front, caught from behind inside the 5.
There's a flag on the play.
And there is a flag back at the 19-yard line. This will wipe out a 94-yard return.
Receiving team number 87. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Jeremy Brigham, a backup tight end. Called for a hold that wipes out a 93-yard return. ESPN NFL Thursday Night Special is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be. By Stamps.com, postage from your printer. By Toyota, go for it every day. And by AMD Athlon, the world's fastest PC processor. So instead of a 94-yard kickoff return, the Raiders backed up inside their 10. Wheatley. Hammered as he got to the 15.
And really, the Raiders haven't had a lot of trouble moving the ball. They've just missed some scoring opportunities.
That was the second long kickoff return Kaufman's had wiped out this year. There's Brigham, 87, and you can see the hold, had the arms wrapped around and took his man down.
Here's a better look at it. Look at Brigham. When you wrap your arms around and then throw the guy on the ground, you're right out in the open.
Gannon, short slip, goes out to Dudley. The ball came loose. They're going to say he's down just shy of the 20. Dudley did a headstand.
What a hit. Watch the left part of your screen. He makes the catch. Here comes the hit. The ball is up. Absolutely good call by the official. After contact, if the ball hits the ground, it cannot be ruled a fumble.
Nice hit by Danon Sidney.
The one thing that's been noticeably absent also, Mike, is Tim Brown. Tim Brown had 74 catches coming into this game. He's had 3 thrown at him and only really had that little short slant.
And it's a first down by that much.
There's a guy that they've got to get back in this offense. He catches 3 times more passes than anybody on the field.
And he has at least 2 catches in 104 straight games, trying to keep that streak alive.
What the Titans have done is they've put Samari Roll, number 21, and we do this, that they're going to put him on Tim Brown on almost every single formation.
Second year out of FSU, and he's a good one. Gannon changing the play. Sidearms it out to Kaufman, and Napoleon Kaufman out of bounds. Let's go to Solomon Wilcox.
Mike, on the road with 3 days of preparation, John Gruden is very unhappy with his team, who has squandered several scoring opportunities in the first half. Most notably were the 2 missed field goals by kicker Michael Houston. And guys, Houston needs to have a better performance in the second half, or the plane home, well, it could have one less player on it.
He might get a bus ticket instead of the charter.
Well, Richie Cunningham's available.
Tyrone Wheatley picks up 4 to the 29. It'll be 3rd and 1. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues this week at 8:15 as Derek Thomas and the Chiefs host Randy Moss and the Vikings. And on Monday Night Football, Mark Brunell and the 11-1 Jaguars battle the Broncos at 9. Boy, our Sunday night game, ESPN and ABC, your exclusive network for primetime NFL football. Our Sunday night game, one that they desperately, both teams have to win. Zach Crockett in on 3rd and short. Crockett gets the carry, 1st down and more to the 35.
Mike, the Raiders cannot continue to just try and pound this out and turn it into a 16-17 play drive. The likelihood of a mistake jumping up, a fumble, an interception, a batted ball, penalty increases. They're going to have to take a shot down the field somewhere in this drive to try and get a big play in it.
Wheatley. Another hard run out to the 43-yard line. This is an offense. John Gruden, of course, was the offensive coordinator at Philadelphia, a believer in the West Coast offense. No completions of 50 or more yards in the last 22 games. This was a staple of the Raider offense in the old days.
But it also is the way the West Coast offense works.
Sure.
It's a run-after-catch style offense. They've not been able to do a good job with it.
Wheatley has another 1st down out to his own 49-yard line. Of course, the one thing the run does is when you've got a Wheatley and Kaufman and Al Davis, known for years as the guy who wanted to throw the ball downfield, you've got Jett and Brown on the outside who can make it. Back in. Screen. Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman cuts it back to the 2. Caught from behind by Denard Walker, but it's a gain of 50. There's your 50-yard play.
There's lots of different ways to get the ball down the field in the passing game. You get it in the hands of somebody who can take it the distance.
Well, Jett comes in motion, and Samari Rolle is a corner. He comes up into a blitz, and they leave the outside wide open. They get blocks. Wisniewski gets out front, but they get some outstanding blocks. And then Napoleon Kaufman trying to get to the end zone. Walker catches him. That's an outstanding call.
The Raiders with another scoring opportunity. Zach Crockett is the tailback. Crockett with a carry. Close, but not in.
To be conscious of.
Crockett behind Richie. Touchdown. John Gruden finally with a reason to celebrate.
They run this ball behind Steve Wisniewski. He was out in the screen and made an outstanding block. Now watch this, number 76. He's going to just cross over. Richie is there. One of them gets a tackle in the backfield, but he can't hold Crockett.
And now Houston for the point after.
Kickers go. The score is tied.
So the Raiders answer the long Tennessee drive with one of their own. Yard kickoff return wiped out by a holding call, pushed all the way back to their 10-yard line, but they made it work anyway. Went 90 yards in 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and the short yardage specialist, Zach Crockett, finished it. Mason on the short kick. Cut down shy of the 30-yard line. Jermaine Williams downfield to make the tackle. We're tied at 7, 2:27 to go, third quarter. These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines aerial cam high above Nashville, Tennessee for our ESPN NFL Thursday night special. Titans have the ball back, tied with the Raiders at 7. They'll start from their own 29-yard line. Eddie George, play action, McNair. In trouble. Look how strong McNair is. Finally goes down at the 25. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcox.
Yeah, Mike, right now I'm joined by two former Oilers who tonight were inducted into the Tennessee Titan Hall of Fame. Elvin Bethea and Hall of Fame safety Ken Houston. And Elvin, I'll start with you. You both played in Houston, so what does it mean to be inducted into the Titans Hall of Fame?
It's a great feeling because you only get a chance of this once, and I'm glad to be a part of this first inductees group because it's something that I told me I'd be voted for somewhere. And this is a great one.
And Ken, your thoughts?
Well, you know, when you're in the Hall of Fame, you're in the Hall of Fame. And here in Tennessee, we played in Houston. It's still a big part of football. We appreciate it.
All right, we want to thank you both for joining us. It's an honor to talk to both of you. Mike, back to you.
All right, Solomon and Eddie George just broke one for 39 yards on a draw.
Eddie George, I keep saying about the quick feet and the good feet. Watch Eddie George. Look at his vision. Look at his eyes. He sees exactly where he's going. He breaks a tackle there, and then he gets himself to the outside. Woods is going to bring him down.
Bruce Matthews continuing to do the thing that he does well, number 74. They get the block inside. Eddie starts to turn it upfield, and then it's Heisman on Heisman.
Eddie George now with 128 yards rushing. At 59 yards on his last 2 carries. Back to the big guy again. Lowers his head and gets to the 32. Eddie George, who was held to 32 yards a week ago, running wild, especially here in the second half, and has gone over 1,000 yards for the season.
You know what I really like about him? He makes a big run. They come back, they give him the ball. He doesn't even look to the sidelines to ask for a blow.
No way.
He just stays on the field and keeps on helping his ball club out.
2nd and 7. George opening the flat. Nice tackle that time by Beekert, the middle linebacker, who got out in a hurry. He had seen that play before when George was wide open. Reacted very well to that one. And that is going to be the end of the quarter. The Titans will face a 3rd and 8. When we come back, it's tied at 7. Downtown Nashville in front of the Ryman Auditorium, which was the original Grand Ole Opry, since replaced with a new building. A lot of history there. And they're trying to make history here at the Adelphia Coliseum. The Titans going for their 10th victory of the year, facing a 3rd and 12. McNair with time, now scrambles. Throws on the run, and he's got Eddie George. And Eddie George has a first down. If you can't hand it to him, send him downfield.
Well, you know, we sat there with him yesterday, and you look at his hands, Joe. They are the biggest hands on a man that size I've ever seen. McNair gets to the outside, sees Eddie George. Watch him look this ball in, makes the catch. Now we're going to see some balance. After he catches the ball, he gets hit, gets that arm down, gets back up again. Mitzi comes in and hits him, but he picked up another 4 yards.
173 yards for Eddie George. The rest of the team is combined for 51. And now McNair will use a timeout. Play clock was running down. Fourth quarter tied at 7. Javon Kearse, a leading candidate for the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. They've run at him 8 times for 25 yards. He has 2 sacks and a forced fumble.
Well, here's the first play of the game. He gets a sack on Rich Gannon. Then he makes a play. Watch this turn right into Napoleon Kaufman. He makes a great turn, and now here he comes again. Here is the other sack and the forced fumble all in the same play.
Not only have we seen him play brilliantly, but Eddie George has had a fantastic, especially second half, Joe.
In a lot of different ways. Eddie George cannot be stopped with the first hit. You see him scramble around in this last play to give Steve McNair an opportunity to go with the football someplace, whether it's on screens, whether it's breaking tackles. He's continuing to run hard, and he just stays in the game. He doesn't take himself out. As a matter of fact, the timeout that McNair had to call gave him a chance to get back in the game, so the weapon is back on the field.
First down, Titans. George on the draw play. Mincy holds on and waits for help as he gets inside the 15. The fourth quarter has been a nightmare for the Oakland Raiders. It seems every game has been so close for them, and they have lost one heartbreaker after another. They committed 6-6. They could easily have 9 or 10 wins on the year. 2nd and 5 here. McNair. Complete down to the 10-yard line. Kevin Dyson.
On that last play, they put Frank Wycheck in the backfield, Joe, and then they bring him right out in the flat, which is, they figure this McNair's favorite target. They get 2 people to cover him, and then Kevin Dyson is in the middle open.
Well, it's like having a fullback that can actually catch the ball. If you want to go on a quick count and run it, you've got a tight end in the backfield who can block. If not, you move him.
3rd and a yard. Eddie George behind Lorenzo Neal. Eddie George, touchdown. Lorenzo Neal is a brilliant blocking fullback, and that time he led him through the hole.
And he also got an outstanding block from number 88, Jackie Harris. This is almost like misdirection. They go one way, the line, and just look at Lorenzo Neal gets a block. There's Jackie Harris, number 88, getting a block downfield, and superb balance by Eddie George for the touchdown.
Richard Harvey's got to have a headache. He's bounced off of Eddie George about 5 or 6 times tonight.
Del Greco for the point after. Eddie George with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season. And Jeff Fisher can see that 10th win on the horizon. Rich Eisen standing by to bring you a breakdown of this ball game. Sean Salisbury will be along to talk about it. Lafitte Pinkai in a race for immortality, and Charles Barkley's farewell to pro basketball. Randy Jordan deep to receive the kick, and it goes out of bounds. Heisman weekend coming up. You'll see the presentation on ESPN Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Eddie George, the 95 Heisman Trophy winner out of Ohio State. In fact, there are 3 men on the field who have won the Heisman here tonight. Brown, George, and Woodson in a span of 11 years. And they revealed who they voted for the upcoming Heisman Trophy. Tim Brown took the big running back from Wisconsin, Ron Dane, as did Eddie George. But Woodson went with Peter Warrick of Florida State. Let's see how many other voters are divided come Saturday night.
Woodson's good, though, because he figures he's going to have to cover him, and he's going to get him on his side.
Raiders get a break in field position. They start at the 40. Whoops. And Rich Gannon had his head turned away from the right side of the line, was getting ready to change the play, and two guys jumped.
They hadn't jumped off sides for about a quarter because Rich hadn't gone to audible.
Snap. Ball start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, it remains. First down.
Speaking of the Heisman, Saturday at 8 Eastern. The presentation of college football's most prestigious honor, the Heisman Trophy awarded to the best player in the country at the Downtown Athletic Club in New York. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Kirk Herbstreit will be there for the presentation. 1st and 15 for Rich Gannon. Wheatley ripped. Samari roll.
Samari roll. Shucks. Tim Brown at the line of scrimmage and then releases them. They throw the ball to Wheatley, and Samari roll just nails him.
What a shot by a guy who's 175.
Watch this. Watch him hit. Shoulder. That's perfect.
And when you can get a defensive back in that kind of position, that's a heck of a job by Greg Williams, their defensive coordinator, to have the corner there waiting for the swing pass.
Gannon dumps it to Tim Brown, and he is horse-collared by Eddie Robinson. Momentum has swung in the Titans' favor, and they are feeling it right now.
I'll tell you, the way these defensive backs and linebackers are hitting, you better have some courage going across that middle.
What it's going to force John Gruden to do is make Richie Gannon hold the ball a little bit longer than he wants to have to try and get the guys down the field past the first down mark.
3rd and 11. Gannon to Richie, and it's intercepted. Tipped and picked off Steve Jackson. Gannon threw too high for Richie.
Tremendous concentration by Steve Jackson to keep the ball off the ground.
Richie steps up. He looks at the field. He makes the throw. And then he winds up throwing it far and behind John Ritchie. Look at the concentration. Boy, you're so right, Paul. He manages to get that right hand just under the ball so that it doesn't hit the ground.
The Tennessee Titans had gained 99 yards in the first half. In the last 2 drives, they picked up 141. Play action, McNair. Roan. And Roan carries Mincy to the 31-yard line.
All this does now is set up the opportunity to go back to running Eddie George.
Tennessee would have the lead in the wild card if the season ended today. The Raiders at 6-6. John Gruden admitted these are elimination games. They have to win the rest, they feel, in order to make it. Tennessee would pretty much assure itself of a spot, considering their remaining schedule, if they win this one. Eddie George hitting the backfield, shakes it off. Is he something special?
You know the amazing part about this entire game, just sitting here watching all these things that have happened with the Tennessee Titans. You know what they've been doing here? Joe, they're doing it without any wide receivers. They're doing it with tight ends and a running back.
Paul, you are so right. All they're doing is lining up and throwing the football. Look, Eddie George breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, 3 tackles, almost gets away from a 4th tackle. When you can line up with your offensive linemen and your backs and run against people like they have, it says a lot for your team. This is basically a 9-on-7 drill. You've taken the receivers out of it.
And both Brad Hopkins and Bruce Matthews had great blocks to give him room. George off the left side. They sealed it. Eddie George stopped just shy of the 10.
Do you think he's tired? I don't think so. When you're going for 200 yards, you don't get tired.
But I also think, I'm wondering just how tired the Raiders are.
They're getting tired.
Well, they're getting guys caught inside. On that last play, Lance Johnstone gets caught inside. Eddie George, look at this. Beaker at 54 misses. You got your defensive lineman downfield trying to help out making a tackle.
21 carries, 164 yards for Eddie George. His high for the season, his fourth 100-yard game. And they are pounding the Raiders right now. McNair with all day. Incomplete. Tried to fit it into the end zone to Joey Kent.
What you do, I like this call by Les Steckel, the offensive coordinator. What you've done is you've pounded that defensive line. Now you make them chase Steve McNair. What they're basically doing is I think they've worn out the defense of the Oakland Raiders. These guys are really tired trying to chase Eddie around and trying to chase Steve now when he comes out of the pocket.
I can assure you of one thing. Down on that field, there are no bugs. Because that defense have eaten them all.
Sucked them all in, haven't they?
They're breathing hard.
2nd and 10. McNair can't get away this time. Tried to step up in the pocket. He is sacked at the 20 by Grady Jackson.
You know something? I think this is a little bit of a flaw sometimes for a coach. Steve McNair has not had a touchdown pass in the last 5 games. And they really haven't given him a lot of opportunities. A night like tonight, I still wouldn't give him an opportunity. I would still pound Eddie George. I think Jeff Fisher and Les Steckel have tried to, help Steve out a little bit. And I don't think it's working.
Not the way this offensive line is blocking. Just let them block. They love the run block. Every team does.
And consider the defensive tackles they are blocking against. They've done a great job. Eddie George on the toss sweep. Look at the hole. Touchdown. Holy cow, what a run.
What else could you do? You don't need to throw the ball.
$183 yards for Eddie George.
We talk about the athletic ability of offensive linemen. Watch the guys get out front. Look at the job by Brad Hopkins, number 72, right out front, leading the way. He makes the turn. He hunts up the little safety and smashes him. And you could see the effort of both the defensive back and the linebacker. Couldn't quite get to Eddie George.
Del Greco for the point after. Eddie George and his teammates were humbled a week ago. 41-14, losing against Baltimore. It had a lot of people wondering. They're not wondering anymore.
At Walker Ford, their employees care about their customers.
Year after year, our employees stay with us just like our customers.
We have many employees that have been with us for some 8-10 years. That says a lot for a company because obviously they're happy where they're working. They like the people they work with, and they feel good about themselves. They feel good about the company, and that transmits to the customer.
I really enjoy my job because I get to show people how much money they can save on leasing their new car at Walker Ford.
Walker Ford.
There is a time for action and a time for adventure. That time is now. Toyotathon 2000. Hurry to this blockbuster event for great Toyota values. Your ride to the new millennium is here. Are you ready to go? Right now, lease Tacoma for $189 a month and zero down. Zero down. Toyotathon 2000. Tacoma's zero down. Now showing exclusively at your Toyota dealer.
In this job, there's no time to stop. Quality is the key, and having everything I need is just as important. That's why I count on Smart & Final. With a large selection, low warehouse prices, and no membership fees. Smart & Final makes my job easy at work and at home. Smart & Final, where the pros shop and save.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. Randy Moss and the Vikings invade Kansas City, where they'll have to keep up with the fleet feet of Derek Alexander. Vikings-Chiefs, Sunday at 8:15 on ESPN.
Sounds like a real brouhaha.
Eddie George, not a bad first half, 55 yards rushing. Second half, he's been all world. 11 carries, 128 yards. And he's broken this one open. This one almost gets away, covered back at the 13-yard line by Napoleon Kaufman. Perry Phoenix gave him a shot as he fell on the ball. 21-7 Titans. Center Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen will bring you up to date on everything. Sean Salisbury will be along to help us break down this game. A race for immortality involving the legendary jockey Lafitte Penkai and a farewell to Charles Barkley. Raiders need points, need them in a hurry. Richie, the fullback, leans out to the 25-yard line.
Pass is complete to John Ritchie.
Bud Adams, the Titans owner, who has finally found a home after leaving Houston, going through Memphis, playing in stadium after stadium. Now he has a home. It's sold out, and the team is rolling. Gannon throws to Mickens up at the 35-yard line. That'll be another first down for the Raiders, who are trying to hustle it up.
You said they have a home. This is a beautiful, beautiful stadium.
Great stadium.
Oh, man.
Great place to work from. We're not very high off the field, but yet have a perfect angle to see everything. Richie Gannon getting him in and out of the huddle in a hurry. If you're not going to throw the ball down the field, you've got to get as many plays off as you can in 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
Got 3 wide receivers. Screen to Wheatley. Wheatley somehow stays on his feet and down to the Tennessee 35. And if the Raiders lose this game, they will look back at the blown scoring opportunities in the first half. They were in the red zone when they had a fumble and they missed 2 field goals.
We saw the big screen play before to Kaufman. Now here comes the other one to Wheatley. Gets outside. Now Blaine Bishop comes over to try and make the play. He is playing with a cast on his right hand, so he wasn't able to really make the tackle. Had to just throw a body block.
Gannon does the smart thing and throws that one away. We talked earlier about the Raider mistakes. In the first half, they moved the ball time after time. Husted was wide left on that field goal. Then this one appeared to be partially blocked. And then Javon Curse did it, coming from behind Rich Gannon, stripping the football. 13 points they could have had. Instead, they had 0. Napoleon Kaufman on the toss. Kaufman picks up 8 to the Tennessee 28-yard line.
They just took a page out of Tennessee's book on that toss. They know that the defensive ends are coming down inside, trying to get to Rich Gannon. So all they did that time was just a little quick toss back to the outside, and they picked up 8 yards on the play.
And really, all night, the Raiders haven't really been stopped. I mean, Tennessee's defense hasn't really stopped the Raiders much. It's what they've done to themselves.
3rd and 2 on a drive where they have to score. Gannon trying to run for it, dives, and appeared to have it. Good effort by Rich Gannon to get the first down.
Greg Williams just will not allow Rich Gannon the opportunity to find Tim Brown. He comes in motion. Now they want to move him. Samari Roll comes along in coverage. Now he locks up. Now Brown's open, but Gannon's busy trying, as you can see, run for his life. Because guess who's chasing him? Part of the defensive line.
Clock running, 5:11 to go. And now Tennessee will use the timeout. Kenny Holmes didn't like something and came up and called time.
They only had 10 men on the field. The Raiders did that. They called a timeout. There were only 10.
5:06 left, 21-7 Titans. Ernest Tubbs Record Store in downtown Nashville, one of the legends in country music, and where all the other greats of old-time country music used to come and hang after their performances here in Nashville. Gannon to Tim Brown inside the 15-yard line. And he's got a first down. We're now under 5 minutes.
This time he gets on Damon Sidney. Tim Brown's going to make the move, giving him an awful lot of room. I mean, a ton of room. They're getting closer to the goal line. You can't give up 10 yards.
And Samari Roll is the injured player. He's in on this tackle. May have caught Tim Brown's knee in the head. Rolls had a tremendous game for the Tennessee defensive corner.
And there's the head coach, Jeff Fisher, out there on the field again.
If you're looking ahead, if the Raiders can score here to cut it to 7, they have all 3 timeouts left. As you take a look at Samari Roll, only 175 pounds. They let Darrell Lewis go, who was their starting corner, because Samari Roll had come on so strong. He was their second-round draft choice a year ago. And still being tended to by the medical staff of the Titans.
We had a chance to talk to him. He was just so impressed with the fact that he would be covering, as Greg Williams would want him to do, covering Tim Brown. He said, you know, I was in elementary school and watched Tim Brown play.
Titans fans, get the scoop on your favorite team by subscribing to the Titans.
Plants that right shoulder in.
No, he doesn't get hit by his own man. It did happen when he hit Tim Brown.
The crowd now starting to chant for Joe Theismann.
Thank you very much.
They're getting out of control now.
There he is. Stinger Paul, you think?
Yeah, he's moving his fingers. He's all right.
This ESPN NFL Thursday Night Special is brought to you by Canon. So advanced, it's simple. By Fidelity Investments. By Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. By Buy.com. The Internet Superstore. Why buy anywhere else? And by the Marines, where the change is forever. Samari Roll able to get up, walk off on his own to the sideline. Raiders with a 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 14. Gannon hit from behind. If he had had another second, Tyrone Wheatley was wide open for a touchdown.
I'll tell you, that time there, they had Javon Curse in coverage. And what happened is Mo Collins is looking for Javon Curse. He drops off in coverage, and then they get Eddie Robinson makes a sack.
You're going to see what happens with speed. Eddie Robinson's just going to come right around and make the play. He sneaks up, times the count perfectly, and Mo Collins just doesn't stand a chance to get a hand on it.
2nd and 18. Gannon down the middle, contact and a flag. Jackson against Dudley, and that looks like interference at the 1. Big break for the Raiders.
I think what Jeff Fisher is asking Steve Jackson to do. Steve Jackson's like a pit bull, but he is asking
Pass interference, defense, number 24. That's an automatic first down.
He's only 5'8", Joe.
And Dudley is 6'6". He's asking him to go after a guy that's 255. Watch this. He gets locked up. He tries to hold ground, and he just literally grabs onto him. Now, what Jackson is counting on is that the rush is going to get to Gannon. Offensive line gave him enough time. He winds up with the hold.
1st and goal. They'll spot it at the 2. Gannon. Touchdown, Dudley. Richie Gannon bought enough time with the scramble that Dudley could get open. goal. They'll spot it at the 2. Gannon. Touchdown, Dudley. Richie Gannon bought enough time with the scramble that Dudley could get open.
Play action on the goal line is a magnificent thing.
When you can run the football the way the Raiders have been able to do it. Ricky Dudley with his 8th touchdown reception. Good play action fake. You get all the Titans linebackers up inside. Now he buys a little more time. Dudley does a nice, first of all, he makes a nice catch. Now watch him work. He's number 83. He slides back, makes a heck of a play.
Husted to make it a 7-point game. 86 yards in 4 minutes and 2 seconds for the Raiders, whose offense comes alive when it has to. Dudley now with 44 yards receiving on 4 catches. 3:59 to go. The Raiders have been in one tight game after another. Let's check in with Solomon Wilcott. Solly, what do you have?
Guys, former Raiders safety George Atkinson became part of the Raiders folklore with bone-jarring hits over his 10-year career. And, George, the way you played the game, could you play the game today in light of the rules that have been instituted in the National Football League?
I could play today, Solomon, but you know what? I would probably be broke because I would be fine, I guarantee you, on just about every hit. You know, the rules have changed tremendously, and the way that we used to play back in the day, I don't think I would make much money.
Now, in 1968, you had a career day as a punt returner against Buffalo. What was the punter's name again?
Paul McGuire was his name. And you know what I don't understand is the fact, the first punt he punted to me, I ran it back 86 yards. The second one, I ran back 70 yards, but it went for a score. But you know what? Paul kept punting the ball to me, back and forth, back and forth.
That's because he wanted to see you to the All-Star game. Back to you guys.
Oh, yeah, sure. If a guy is as good, that good, don't kick the ball to him, he said.
Derek Mason on the return. Mason with room. And Husted makes the tackle up at the 40.
Derek Mason on the return.
Eddie George tonight has shown you what an NFL running back is supposed to be.
Every team needs a Brahma bull to steamroll through the stacked defenses in the pros. They must meld the buck of a billy goat with a sudden surge of a sprint.
Got more than the buck of a billy goat.
I'll tell you, you couldn't find a better way to describe him.
He's on his way to 200, folks.
And you're going to get a big dose of Eddie George right here with 3:44 to go in the ball game. George behind Neal. They got the corner. Eddie George, first down into Raider territory.
You know what's the amazing part about this? Before we talk about no wide receivers in the game, they've been running to their left-hand side, to the right-hand side of the Raiders defense all night long. They have found something over there, and they're not going to change. Watch it. Takes a step to his right. Lorenzo Neal gets out in front of him. He screens off, and then Eddie George picks up another first down.
Well, you know what you have over there? You have Lance Johnstone at 250. You got Richard Harvey at 235. And then for Tennessee, you've got Brad Hopkins at 305 and Bruce Matthews at 305. You've got physical mismatches.
Eddie George
there again. I'm sorry, Mike.
George with now 195 yards rushing, Paul. They'll go the other way. Eddie George has just hit 200 yards rushing against the defense that was number 8 against the run, giving up 90 yards a game. The Raiders have had to use their first time out of the half. Eddie George has just put his name in the record book. He has 2 of the 3 best running games ever against the Oakland Raiders. His best was 2 years ago. 216 yards. Tonight he is at 200.
He's about to put...
Al Davis looking on in disbelief. This time they're up around the line of scrimmage. You have 9 guys in your picture.
George to the left. Cuts it back, falls over his own man, cut down at the line of scrimmage. The Raiders will use another timeout. That is 3rd and 5. Play action. McGuire to George, made the catch, got the first down.
And stayed in bounds.
Do you know how hard it is once your arm starts forward to change the direction of where you want the ball to go? Steve.
Eddie George, a couple, and they can let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning.
You know, we've talking about Eddie George, but I can assure you of one thing. After this ball gets...
And you got a good look tonight at Bruce Matthews, a 17-year veteran who can still play at the highest level that the NFL would want you to play at. We have reached the 2-minute warning. Titans by 7 over the Raiders. 2 minutes to go. Raiders out of timeouts. Second down. It's a shame Paul doesn't get a chance to pick a play at this point. Flag is down. That will stop the clock.
Well, you know what the problem is with the flag down, if the Raiders accept the penalty, it's another down. And really, they should refuse this penalty, make it be third down, because you want to try and get the ball back.
And that's exactly what John Gruden is thinking.
You don't want to accept the yards. You don't need them.
Hold on a second.
Holding, offense number 80. The penalty is declined. Makes it third down.
George brought down at the 34-yard line. That'll bring up fourth down. The Raiders look like they will be coming after Craig Hentrich. And he got it out of there. A beauty, hangs high. Gordon lost it. Darian Gordon muffed the punt. And Tennessee has it. And John Gruden can't believe it.
I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot of wind up there, and Hendrick got the ball way up in the air. And I'm not making an excuse. You've got to make this catch.
You've got the NFL's all-time average leader in returning punts, so it's not like he hasn't fielded a bunch of them. And the ball just gets away from Gordon.
And the Raiders would have had 57 seconds to try to get that tying touchdown.
This ball hits him right in the face. I mean, he really misjudges it. And I think the wind had a lot to do with it.
And he's third best. And also, not only is it the wind, Paul, but it's the third.
And now all they have to do is take a knee. Tennessee will go to 10-3. They are still in the hunt for the division title. They have a rematch with Jacksonville coming up in a couple of weeks. And this may have been the Raiders' swan song. They will go to 6-7. They said they felt all the remaining 4 games were elimination games, and if they were, then they are eliminated.
And certainly Jacksonville has got a test coming up on Monday night with the Denver Broncos.
And Tennessee, a team that played so poorly in the first half, but got some breaks as the Raiders made mistakes, took advantage in the second half, and Eddie George was magnificent, running the football and as a receiver.
It was like the story of two halves. Javon Curse controlled the first half defensively for him. Eddie George controlled the second.
Our final score, the Titans 21, the Raiders 14. Coming up next, SportsCenter, Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen. All the latest news, scores, and highlights. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcox, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night from Nashville.